What This is Margaret Gilbert, and I'm going to be an instructor on an online medical criminology course this semester. I'd like to go over with you some of the organization of the course to hopefully get you started and everybody in a good spot getting going in the course and making sure that you don't fall behind before we ever actually get going. One of the most important things, if you've never taken an online course before, is to make sure that you, number one, stay in communication with your instructor, and we communicate regularly and stay in touch if you're having problems or if you need help. That's important because you want to keep moving forward. And in order to keep moving forward, you need to make sure that you schedule enough time each week to complete the work. And we're really doing a course which is sort of like learning a new language, medical terminology. Some of you may be coming with some experience from working in medical offices or had anatomy and physiology or some other courses that might give you some of the medical terminology that we're going to be learning this semester. But to lots of you, it may be the first time you're trying to learn medical terminology, and it takes study, it takes practice. So I want to advise and warn you that if you were taking this course on campus, it's a 3-credit college course. So that would mean you would be spending 3 to 4 hours a week in a college classroom, and then you would have 3 to 4 hours a week, probably, of some homework and study. And sometimes it's more study if you're having trouble mastering some of it. So you want to make sure you give yourself all the time you need to get everything you can from the course and learn the medical terminology that you need to learn. I am going to right now, we're in in your course, and we're going to kind of walk through and take a look at some of what the course looks like. And I want to change it right now so that we're looking at it as a learner, as you do it in yours instead of mine as the faculty member. Now, to reach this, I'm in Brightspace, which is the software that the college uses to present their online courses. And this is really a fully online course. We don't have any real scheduled class meetings. I will, and we'll go through my little welcome letter right here. And you'll see it at the end. I do offer in the first week some Zoom sessions where if after going through all the getting started material, you still have questions, you can sign into the Zoom meeting and ask questions, or maybe other students will have similar questions, or whatever it is you may want to need, ask, or find out, just to give you hopefully a real good start in the course. You're going to find as we go through it that there are due dates for everyone. And the health professions group sets due dates, and they hold to it. In other words, it's not lots of extensions, and every now and then there's, if there's a hurricane, if there's a blizzard, if there's, some reason where things need to be rescheduled, then we will reschedule. And where you're going to watch for all that information would be right here in announcements. And when you first sign into the course, this is the home page for the course, and what pops up first are announcements. I will each week send kind of a what to do this week, so that if you're having trouble following the organization of the course, if you check back there, you're going to see just exactly what it is that you're supposed to be working on each week in our course. Well, let's just go through the intro level. Again, my name is Margaret Gilbert, and as we said, it is an asynchronous course. That means you'll be working on your own using your textbook, and that's very important. You need your textbook. I don't care if you go for the e-textbook or the printed book. I'm an older person, so I kind of like a printed book and I can go back and study it. And I also live in an area where I don't have great internet. There's times that there'll be blips in it, and I would rather be able to have a printed book in my hands. And I know lots of you prefer ebooks, and it is entirely up to you. They are available at the CCBC bookstores. You can go to the online bookstore from the college's website, and they are available there. So you want to get your book, you need your book. So under contents, let's go to look at right now. Let's go to content. And this is going to show our course. Let's come down here to getting started. And the first thing you already found, the getting started video. So what you're going to do is it's just reminding you there that the textbook we're going to be using is the 9th edition. And there's the link to the video. And here's just some updates. Your study time again. Each week is work is due on Tuesday evening at 11:59. We're going to have 3 Zoom sessions, which are scheduled, and they're in that opening announcement. And I will be sending an announcement before each one of them, inviting you to it. So you look at your announcements on any of the days that we're having the Zoom meetings. It'll be the first week of class. You can join the Zoom meeting and see if you have any questions or whatever you'd like to check in. I recommend that you also print a copy of the syllabus and our weekly schedule, calendar schedule, so that you can kind of put it with your book or your course materials. And again, hopefully that will help you keep on track with everything you're doing. We do follow the college's online learning policies, and they are here. I suggest reading over them if you haven't taken an online course before. Technical requirements for your computer. Brightspace. Pulse is if you wanted to reach Brightspace on your phone, information about that. Technical support here at the college. And if you're having trouble with loading anything or Brightspace or how your computer is interfacing with the college's technology, you want to call the CCBC Help Center. And they generally are very helpful and can help get you up and running. Anyway, resources for students, that's going to take you to online resources that will give you testing center, bookstore information, etc. Call attention to the Respondus Quick Start Guide for students. When we get to the time for midterm and the final exam, if you want to take the exam from home or from your own computer, wherever you're using your computer, we use a software called Respondus, which allows you to take it from home because it needs to be a monitor of test taking. And what it does is it kind of shuts out outside access to your computer, but you need to make sure that you have good internet, working microphone, working video, so that everything will work as needed. Okay, here's a notation about discussion citations. We have discussions in each unit. And again, the Allied Health Department wants their students to use APA format on the citations. So you're going to find that in the first week's work, you're going to be doing some work learning about that. And then in each discussion, you want to make sure you follow the rubric and the directions for each of those discussions, because the for exciting references is part of the grading. And then, of course, getting started quiz. Once you're finished going through all the getting started information, there's a little 5-question getting started quiz just to kind of make sure you covered anything and everything you needed to know. And again, if you don't know some of the answers, it may tell you that you need to come to one of those Zoom sessions. Let's take a look first at the syllabus. Independent general syllabus information. Again, there is my email, mgilbert@ccbcmd.edu. And in my little opening letter, and I mentioned it already, we're going to be using email, the college's email. And so if you need to ask me a question, get in touch with me, we'll be using that email address. And so that I can build up a file or a workplace for us on my email, I'm asking that all of you during the first week of class send me an email from whatever email you want to use during our course this semester. Put in the subject line your name, then our course ALHL 115, and whatever semester we're in. And what I'll do then is put them all in one area so that I can quickly see and they don't get mixed in with anything else that comes to all an email is. It gets loaded with all kinds of things you don't really want. And I want to make sure I find any emails that come in from you. I check it, and we'll check it regularly. So, and I mean regularly, it's generally, especially as we start the semester, several times a day to make sure I'm not holding you up. Nothing's more frustrating when you're trying to move on and you need some information from me or you don't understand something. So I do try to stay in touch and make sure I check that. So if that could be one of the first things you do is shoot that email to me so that I make sure I have you in that file. We have our course objectives, and they're all pretty much around learning medical terminology. Our major topics, you're going to see, first of all, we spend a couple weeks on word parts, and you have prefixes, you have suffixes, and you have root words. So that's important. We need to make sure you understand how medical terms are built. Then we move into, in the rest of our 15 weeks, we take system by system and learn the medical kind of roots and terms that really are part or speak to each of those systems. Let's get into evaluation. Now this is interesting. You're going to find that your discussions, each of them, all of them average. So at the end of the semester, there was 5 of them. If we average them, say you got all the points for every one of them, they count for 10% of your grade. Then you have your assignments and your homework. And at the end of the semester, you did them all, and you did them all perfectly. Okay, and we figured, great, you need to have 100% for that, so you take 20% of that. At the end of each chapter, there's a chapter review exercise. If you did all of those, and you made sure each one of them before you turned it in or finished up for the week, because you can take them multiple times, now for 20% of your grade. All the tests for the first 4 units, say you got 100% on each one of those tests, then we take 30% of that. The midterm exam counts for 10% of your grade. Final exam counts for 10% of your grade. We're going to do a little addition. So if we have 10% and 20%, that's 30, 50, 80% of your grade comes from your daily classwork and your weekly assignments. This is to encourage you to do it and do it well. Make sure it's as perfect as you can make it. And without taking any of the major exams, midterm or final, you already have an 80%. So I hope that encourages you to stick with it, get your work in every week, and make sure you do it well. Okay? All right, let's go back now, and I'd like you to look at the weekly calendar schedule. because that breaks out week by week what you're going to be doing. So week 1, January 27th, February 4th, we're going to be working on chapter 1, Intro to Medical Terminology. And here's just a brief what you're going to be doing. So now from there, but this is here for the whole semester, so you can always quickly see, and again, I'd suggest you print that so you have it handy, and you can just keep looking at it. Let's go down to Unit 1, Week 1, Week 2, Week 3. And here, what we're going to be doing during Unit 1, the first 3 chapters or weeks, we'll do Chapter 1, Week 2, we'll do Chapter 2, and Week 3, we'll do Chapter 15. In here, it tells us what we're going to be doing during Week 1. First thing, you're going to use your book. Again, you need your textbook because you want to do the reading and the studying of the chapter. That's where you're going to kind of get introduced to the terms, the word parts, how you put them together. And there's all kinds of exercises in the back that are classwork. We can do them. I do not collect them, but it helps you learn them. It is wonderful practice. It's chapter 1, pages 1 through 17. Now, after completing the reading, then you come back here, and here's our chapter 1, lesson 1, and it tells you what you're going to do and gives you links to some little videos, some tutorials, things that you're going to watch. And then what you need to do is you're going to do is going to send you either to a quiz or to homework and assignments. So if we look over here, let's look at homework and assignments. Here's our first spelling assignment. It's not available yet, so you can't see it. But what you're going to do is, here's the link to a list of frequently used terms for Unit 1 by chapters. So you'll click on that. Look, it's going to take it. Here's our list. So those are the words you're going to use to practice during the first week. Let's go back. Because what you're going to use, then what you do is you're going to define them, and then you're going to practice spelling, and you can practice defining it. So you're going to use this midterm spelling sheet, this kind of practice sheet. And really what you want to do is download it. So from your computer, each week, you can fill in the term here and the definition. Then what you can do is kind of fold it so that if you wanted to practice quiz yourself, you can look at the definition and make sure that you're able to spell the term, or look at the term and make sure you know the definition. And then after you're all finished doing that, you're going to submit one under the course assignment. So you will send one to me. Okay. Okay, so none of it was available, so I'm not kind of able to get into that now, but you would be able to get into it and then submit what is the assignment you're doing. Then that's not chapter 2. You're also going to hear your homework 1 is after studying the APA reference information here. You go to homework 1, which is a quiz located under the test link. quizzes and tests, which are right here. Click on that. And there is your homework 1. Also, there's the getting started. So week by week, that's what you're going to do. Now, there is one more thing to end each chapter. Let's go back to quizzes, because the last thing you do when you're finishing up each chapter each week is you're going to scroll down to the bottom, and you're going to find your chapter review. You want chapter review for Unit 1, Chapter 1. And the chapter review is going to be taking terms right from that first chapter, and it helps kind of quiz you. Now, the good thing about this is, look, you have unlimited. So you want to make sure by the time you finish with that, you have it. There's 10 questions in each one. That's perfect. And then make sure that you kind of mark off those terms and make sure you keep studying. The medical terms that are on your spelling sheet and that are in this chapter review, and this is a helpful hint, are the most important terms. You're going to see them in the midterm and the final. So make sure they're the ones who really be nice to know them all, but as you get started, you're going to see there's so many. They're the ones that were kind of decided to be the most important. So you want to make sure that you're very, very familiar with this. Let's go back to content. We're still in homework. Let's go back to just our Unit 1, Week 1, just to make sure. Sit back. And okay, so we've done everything here. We carefully did our review of the APA citation format information. We took the quiz. We did our Chapter 1 assignment. We did the Chapter 1 review. That would mean, okay, you finished up what you needed to do for week 1. And you always want to make sure that you submit it and have it all finished up by Tuesday at 11:59. You'll probably want to those spelling sheets. I recommend you also print one of those out so you have one, and you can just keep it handy as you're spelling for those as you're studying for those major tests. Anyway, so that's kind of the important things that we have here. Let me go back to course home, because the very important other thing is you want to make sure that every day, or at least every other day, you're come in and check for any announcements. Check your email, check any announcements, because if there's something that has gone wrong, if there's a change, if there's, and you know, every now and then there'll be, last semester we found out, oh my, there's going to be some kind of an upgrade over a weekend where you weren't going to have access for a certain amount of time. So at least you knew what was going on. So you want to make sure that you every day, I could prefer every day, make sure you check in and make sure that there aren't any new announcements or anything that you need to pay attention to. Basically, that's a format you're going to follow each week. Each week we cover a chapter. Each week you want to make sure you turn in any of the assignments for that week. You want to use your textbook as your main study guide. So you want to read it thoroughly so you understand word parts, you understand prefixes, you understand suffixes, you begin to understand the root words for all the major body systems. And as I showed you, by being diligent in doing all your assignments, your classwork, making sure it is as picture perfect as you can get it, I think you'll find you'll be happy with your success in the course. And of course, that's your goal. That's my goal. And again, I ask that if you have any questions, please. My email is right here, not only in this opening announcement. It's also under instructor information in our under content. And the last thing I'd like to point out down here are our Zoom times and dates. And if I need to change those, sometimes things happen and you'll, for some reason, need to modify it. But you'll also get an announcement and a separate announcement that will have a link to the Zoom meeting. I wish you all, I hope you have a great semester. Make sure, stay on time, stay current. Let me know if you're having any issues or problems. And I look forward to working with you this semester. Great semester.